And the former president is now apparently speaking.
I really believe this is a very sad day for America. This should never happen. If you challenge an election, you should be able to challenge an election. I thought the election was a rigged election, a stolen election, and I should have every right to do that. As you know, you have many people that you've been watching over the years do the same thing, whether it's Hillary Clinton or Stacey Abrams or many others. When you have that great freedom to challenge, you have to be able to, otherwise you're going to have very dishonest elections. What has taken place here is a travesty of justice. We did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. And everybody knows it. I've never had such support. And that goes with the other ones, too. What they're doing is election interference. They're trying to interfere with an election. There's never been anything like it in our country before. This is their way of campaigning. And this is one instance, but you have three other instances. It's election interference. So I want to thank you for being here. We did nothing wrong at all. And we have every right, every single right, to challenge an election that we think is dishonest, that we think it's very dishonest. So thank you all very much, and I'll see you very soon. Thank you very much.
Did you pardon yourself?
So, Scott, we just heard from the former president saying he had every right to challenge the election. It's a great freedom of this country to challenge. It's not too dissimilar from what we were talking about before the former president spoke, which is that he's basically making a kind of First Amendment case. Of course, the distinction is that from the special counsel and the DA in Fulton County is that, yes, you can challenge an election, but you can't go outside of the boundaries of the law in which to do so when the legal efforts to challenge the election have been exhausted. Back to that First Amendment question, though, in terms of what the judge is saying and any reaction you have to the president's remarks. But what is she saying he can't say?
It's both the district judge and the magistrate judge who arraigned Donald Trump have said he cannot say things to threaten, intimidate, or influence witnesses or parties to the case. And I'll explain what that means in a moment. But I got to tell you, watching him walk up those stairs and give that press statement with the roar of the engine behind him, it's just so symmetrical to those gaggles he did with the press at the White House, with Marine One's propellers roaring or the engine roaring of the plane behind him. The optics here are just jumping out at me as something that if he can control, he seems to be controlling to his advantage. Primetime TV across America. Now, what does it mean for him in terms of what he can post and not post? You know, he has been specifically critical of the special prosecutor, the special counsel, Jack Smith, demonstratively so. He has criticized the judge herself, Judge Tanya Chutkan, saying she needs to recuse, that she is biased against him. He's criticized the District of Columbia, saying it's all boarded up and dirty. Judge Chutkan, by my reporting, is one of the champions of the District of Columbia, a big supporter of the city, its residents, and its civil servants. We're going to find out Monday what all that means when Judge Chutkan gets the attorneys in front of her, gets to talk about Trump's statements, and talks about a trial date. Again, she has emphasized that she's willing, if not eager, to move the trial date earlier on the calendar if those types of statements are made. There have been statements he's made along those lines since she issued that order. So you do have the prospect here that Jack Smith gets the date he wants from her, January 2nd, 2024, potentially a date that ends in 2023. We find that out Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time.
Scott MacFarlane, thank you as always.